The 2010s have been something. I know I've enjoyed the decade as much as one can enjoy a whole 10 years of almost nonstop school, and I hope the 20s prove to be similarly good. I've certainly experienced a lot of change this past decade. Moving from a private elementary Catholic school to a public middle school was an interesting experience, to say the least. I've also changed my beliefs a lot, too. Secular public school doesn't exactly reinforce Catholicism daily, so it wasn't long before I became an atheist. 2016, though, was probably the most important year of the past decade, both for me and for the country. I would not be on the debate team or a member of the Democratic Socialists of America if not for Bernie Sanders' 2016 run. That presidential race has shaped me into the person I am now in quite a few ways. I've met many of my friends through the progressive activism Bernie inspired me to do. And it was my interest in politics that got me into one of my biggest hobbies, debate. However, while the past 10 years have been pretty good for me, the country and the world have not fared so well. For one, climate change still sucks. We saw the Trump administration pull out of the Paris Climate Agreement, which was an objectively bad move. We are now seeing the impacts of our reckless emissions in real time, as Cape Town, South Africa, almost ran out of water. And the best we have to combat the climate is the Green New Deal, which is a complete failure on both a policy and a political front. Getting rid of nuclear energy is like shooting ourselves in the kneecaps with a sawed-off shotgun right now. Things are not looking great for us if that's the best we can muster. We've seen automation get really scary over the last 10 years. Self-driving cars are going to take away our transportation jobs, which does not bode well for the economy, as employees in transportation account for 9% of our labor force. Manufacturing jobs as well, when not being outsourced by terrible trade agreements like the TPP and NAFTA, are being taken by robots. This was not the case in 2009. The past decade has shown us the true ability of technology to completely destroy any value human labor could have. That's a pretty scary proposition. The last decade also gave us 2016, which was, as a year, a complete tragedy. Hillary Clinton, unfortunately, won the Democratic nomination and then proceeded to lose horribly to Trump, which has been highly unfortunate for the country. His tax bill was passed, giving huge tax breaks to the uber wealthy, while the meager improvements for working and middle class people all have sundown clauses in them. He supervised one of the worst government shutdowns in history that put federal employees' lives in jeopardy as their paychecks were taken away when they needed money the most. All of this stems back to Hillary's terrible 2016 campaign. And I know that this is a bit of a dead meme, but what happened with Epstein was just ridiculous. Epstein had the information to bring down the entire political establishment, and he killed himself. We witnessed, in real time, the worst assassination cover-up ever conducted, and nothing happened. By now the case is more or less forgotten. We've moved on from the fact that a lot of figures in the highest places in society are likely child rapists, and that they assassinated the ringleader to avoid getting caught. But, at the very least, we have a chance now to fight back. I wasn't very kind to the Green New Deal, but it's something, and it's proven to have a lot of support, however misguided, behind it. The Sunrise Movement has used it to forward a youth-based activism campaign that is seeing real recognitions by politicians like AOC and Bernie Sanders. Even if I don't like the solution being offered, it is a solution. While the advances in automation are looking grim for us, it doesn't have to be this way. Automation has the potential to vastly reduce our workload and get rid of jobs we don't want people working. If we can reorient our economic system to serve us instead of us serving our economic system, we can do great things with artificial intelligence and machine learning. The Trump administration brings with it some level of hope for the future. We've officially moved past the days of corporate neoliberalism and proper politics. Trump has brought in a populist era where the old rules of politics have been thrown out the window in favor of radicalism. And that is a very good thing. Avowed socialist Bernie Sanders came really, really close to winning the Democratic nomination and perhaps the presidency. If that can happen, maybe the political establishment can finally be removed this decade. And while there is no real upside of Epstein's assassination, at least the country has the wherewithal to know that it wasn't a suicide. The 2010s are now dead, but the 2020s have the potential to change everything. We stand now at a crossroads, one that we have arrived at via the last decade. The last 10 years have taught us a lot of lessons. If we can learn from them, we might just choose the right course moving forward.